All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Dr. Stone, Season 2, Episode 2. All right, the Stone Wars have officially begun. We have our first move being made by Senku and the gang.
Yep.
They're going to be sending out a phone to Yuzuriha and Taiju, specifically to plant a little bit of a thought in their heads that potentially the rest of the world, and maybe even just specifically
America.
Specifically a very popular singer that they all will know about.
He's not as long gone as they thought.
And then the possibility that, oh, wait, maybe we're on the wrong side of this here. Let's switch sides.
Yeah.
And then from there, they'll outnumber the Tsukasa Empire. Well, Tsukasa and maybe whoever is most loyal ones that stick around, and just beat them in a fight.
Yeah. It could happen. So dissension throughout the ranks.
Right.
But they also have another advantage that the Tsukasa Empire sorely lacks. Instant ramen.
Instant ramen.
Easy, lightweight food that they can carry around and prepare whenever they need to.
In the winter cold.
In the winter, which is a big deal.
Big deal. Meaning that they don't have to worry about refrigeration or any of that stuff while they're, going about doing their battling. Right, or maneuvering in the snow.
Yep.
Now, while they do have to deal with Homura the Scout, they have put the idea in her head a while ago that, hey, there's a lot of advantages potentially to joining Senku and everyone else because
that's true. We have cotton candy.
We can do the kind of things that would make you, really
make life a bit more
fun.
Right.
So, Cell Phone Gang moving out. Chrome, Gen, Magma, and Senku. All right, I like it. We got the boy squad.
Yeah.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right. Homura has been captured.
She's been captured.
After multiple attempts at trying to get her. I love that she was not only a very accomplished scout, but she was so physically adept that not even Kohaku could catch her.
Yep.
It needed to be a full-on trap setup with a perfect lure.
Some true gigabrain communication and all that stuff.
Yes, and then also the communication tools being used in a way that would give her pause and make her stick with them and not be so aware that she was also being tracked by Kohaku and Senku's group. Which I messed up. I thought that Senku was going with the three of them in their group. And because I thought that, I was so surprised when Senku showed up with the flashbang. The flare. The flare, yeah. That was brilliant. Now, I like that it created more of a comedy scene in where, because Kohaku has
I can't see it.
She has freakish eyesight.
Right.
She was blinded for much longer.
And she didn't realize that was going to be happening, so all of a sudden just shh.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this is set up for future stuff, but one of the things that this show has done quite a bit is gives everyone kind of a video game super proficiency skill.
Right.
And, each person has their thing that they're so focused on in spades, right? They just set up the fact that Tsukasa's empire has a specific person that is really good at hearing.
Yeah.
Which means that they can then devise a sonic weapon, which they also used in the previous bit there to distract Homura.
Okay,
so that they can then ruin his skills at being able to detect hearing.
The other thing they can do...
Or detect a sound.
Right. But the other thing they can do, given the fact that they know that, that could be a way for them to let the information slip without it seeming obvious.
Right.
Because all of a sudden they're just talking and it's the, hey, don't worry, apparently America's still around and all that stuff and, blah, blah, blah. And then he can hear that from, half a mile away or something. And then he's just like, oh, Tsukasa, this is potentially a problem.
The big issue I have with this is Gen can't be in two places at once. Gen has the ability to lie believably.
Yes.
No one else has that ability.
Right.
Which means that Gen has to be on the line singing.
Yes.
And also or not singing necessarily, just kind of like, you know,
I am a lady.
Yeah. Well, specifically the
idol. Yeah.
The idol. Yeah. And then also needs to be the one probably to lie convincingly. Otherwise, they'll have to get someone who can really do a good job of it without sounding like devious, you know. And I don't know if anyone maybe other than maybe actually that's the thing. They don't need to do it. They just need it to be Taiju and Yuzuriha. And they've been kind of in the midst of this for so long.
To do what?
To make it convincing.
To play the other part of it.
To play the other part, right.
Yeah, that's true.
And they are on the receiving end of the phone, so that's probably what they have to do anyway. So.
Yep. Uh-huh. Right, which, yeah, that is true. I would not expect Taiju to exactly be a convincing liar, even if he was just being told the lie and he had to respond convincingly. However...
Wait.
They might not know.
That's the thing, yeah. They might be completely unaware.
Shit, really?
And they're like, oh my god. And then Taiju, of course, with his loud, booming voice, will be like, oh, we're not alone! Yes! And then Yuzuriha's gonna be like, keep it down! Like, shh! And he's gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
So we just need to, hold out until, America gets here or something like that or whatever. Reinforcements are on the way, right?
And
Tsukasa's empire is finished.
I love the idea that they don't care entirely that Tsukasa and their whole crew will find out that this eventually is there, because that's the whole point, is that they're going to be like, oh, we're feeding them not only communication of what we need to tell them,
right,
but also, faking them out in this way. I would love to have that moment, though, where Asagiri, again, is doing his part, and Yuzuriha thinks in her head, like,
hold on,
that's a dude. Like.
Well, actually, that's another good point.
Well, because they have memories of the past, right?
Yeah.
So they would be able to know who that is.
That's true.
That idol.
Yeah.
And they might be like, what if Taiju's like, you're a deceiver. I was her biggest fan.
Well, also the hearing guy. Hopefully, he can't tell the difference through the bad audio quality.
Right, because he would recognize Gen.
It's I can remember her classic hits perfectly. Now, granted, the thing that they have that's really convincing is that they do have the recording of her singing. True. So if they take that and then they play
Why do I
that
keep forgetting
song,
that? Yes.
And then after that they just have Gen do the voice changer for
which
when
is
he's
exactly what
talking.
they plan to do. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But
oh my god.
They also brought up something interesting twice this episode. Now, if you may remember, there were some points in the first season where I started talking about how there were things that they could do with science that would be absolutely terrifying, probably help them win a war, right? Might not necessarily make for good old Dr. Stone fun entertainment, but we had Kohaku and Magma bring up the whole idea of, what about killing people, though? Like, we get to this point where these are the people that they're wanting to recruit. What if we just took off an arm or something? They wouldn't be able to fight.
Yeah, and does that really solve the problem? Because while this is a shonen where we want to have a more wholesome end, because that's thematically what makes sense for the story.
The wonder of this world and science and all that.
And humanity is bigger than things like that.
Right.
We don't need to go back to the ways of the old world in which, we can't convince them to join us. Well, we might as well just kill them then.
Yeah.
So while Magma brought up the really good point of, I don't have to kill them. I can just cut off an arm or two, and then they just won't get revived. Now, they won't be dead. So this is my little workaround.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. Right. Because I was thinking it would be something where then they would still get revived and then they'd be without limbs. But no, if Tsukasa comes back and
Tsukasa comes back and he goes, what the hell? Who did this?
Their
arms are gone. And then he would be like, well, I'm not going to revive them.
Yeah.
Because he's all about the strong and all that.
Exactly, yeah. I don't need them. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, But, given that Magma wasn't really about to be stopped because it's Chrome and Gen, they cannot physically really stop him.
Nope.
And yet Gen put himself in the way of the hit. And they made
his hands got pretty scuffed up.
Yeah, they made a point of showing how not bruised, but kind of tough
scratched
it was on his hand. Yeah. Showing that he really took that hit there. And Gen is a very fascinating character, I would say, because he feels like he doesn't fit in Senku's group.
In a lot of ways, he doesn't.
In a lot of ways, he really doesn't.
And that's why he fits, you know?
Yeah, he is the first recruit from Tsukasa's empire.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yeah. That's why I love their dynamic so much.
Right. But the one recruit that they have from Tsukasa's empire has made so much possible that they would not have been able to do without Gen.
Oh, yeah. If on top of this, like, if they end up getting Homura on their side, and she just starts doing observation stuff for them, and she has a phone.
Or even if she doesn't have a phone.
Like,
she's just, who's going to stop her? Who's going to chase after her?
Yeah.
She mentioned Hyoga, which I believe Hyoga is probably like, is he like her boyfriend? Is he like her brother? Is he like...
She might be crushing on him or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, because one of the things that... Asagita, again, even in Tsukasa's empire, he was still very much the black sheep, you know? Right? Like,
because he's not physically strong.
He's not physically strong, you know? There's
sure.
Not
all the
much,
others seem to be brutish.
But he was the one that basically, Tsukasa's like, okay, I want to have someone with a sharp mind, right? You know? Yeah. And so I'll get him. Right, exactly. He's Senku, but not science.
Not science. No. Manipulating people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very helpful for Tsukasa to have. But, as a result of that, Gen didn't really have anyone else that was keeping him in Tsukasa's empire.
Sure.
Right? Bottle of cola, we're good to go, right?
But also,
it could get a bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Other people might have connections where they're like, I really don't want to leave.
Right. But this key difference here that I think is really important is that it's the little actions, like when you play an RPG and you have little inconsistencies where you've done the horrible thing and your companions are watching you and they kind of go like, yeah, you do good things at the big points, but your little actions show that you're greedy. You're very much a petty
just broke
person.
Into that guy's apartment and stole all his stuff.
For no reason. You don't need that. It's just like, I can, so I will. So you basically have in a lot of these RPGs the characters where the companions are like, you're just a might makes right kind of guy, aren't you? You'd be no different than Tsukasa. So it's these little moments where, like, Gen's going to come back and see that Homura might not just be captured, but also fully on their side, because they reasoned with her and found out the thing that she really wants, which might be a really cool thing, is if you snowball it. Say they recruit Homura, then it's like, well, her thing is she wants to bring maybe then Hyoga over to their side. And Hyoga's like one of Tsukasa's top lieutenants. Like maybe he's the most loyal. And it's like, no, there's a quest line of like stuff we'll need to get in order to bring Hyoga over. So it's like the whole next
you do
arc,
these 9 things, then... Theoretically,
you could get him, right? Yeah. That's the kind of thing that snowballs into then another person comes in because of Hyoga. And that's how groups form. Is one person takes the first step, Gen, then another person is like, why did Gen go over there? I'm a little bit receptive
cotton
to that.
Candy. Okay.
Okay, they give gifts. Oh, okay, sure, but I'm still not going to just join because they gave me a gift, right?
Right, I'm still totally going to try and smash this phone thing.
Yeah.
Because, wait, what?
Yeah. Then a couple other things start to stack up, and then 2, and then maybe 3, and then 6, and then 10, and it just keeps going.
One of the, this is a little bit silly, but one of the things they could do, if they wanted to make sure that they got her to kind of be compliant with the things that they try and do to sort of woo her over to the side of science, is they're like, well, you're an observation person, right? You're a scout. Clearly, you probably want to observe the kind of things that we have over here in order to make sure that you can properly report to Tsukasa. So, we've got instant ramen. We've got, and then you just start bringing out all the stuff, right? All the cool things that they've been able to build.
They don't have to show everything.
They don't have to show everything.
And they show all the propaganda stuff, all the
Senku,
all the wonderful benefits.
Right, and Senku is absolutely the type of person that's like, hey, I won't kill somebody, but propaganda?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Information warfare. That's really one of the most effective things that you can do when you have less military power, is basically present a whole litany of things to show how satisfied your people are and stuff.
I'm pretty sure there were like examples in history of where whole like revolutionary movements went differently because, like, say there were two revolutionary groups and one of them just happened to get the press
Oh, sure.
on their side, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're the bigger one. We're the, like, I think that might have actually been the whole thing with Bolsheviks and Mensheviks. I'm not sure. But yeah, so information is very powerful.
It's huge,
and
yeah.
especially in this stone world where you kind of have a rapt audience, whatever side you're looking at, right?
Yep.
Because no one else has that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the key difference with Tsukasa's group is that they all have the memories of the old world.
Right, so they won't be instantly wowed by science. And
Right,
whatnot.
right. I'm really, really excited, though, for Gen to be like a front and center portion of this whole thing, but I'm even more excited for Taiju and Yuzuriha to be brought back into the story because it's been so long since they've had something to do.
And
their wholesomeness is a part of what makes the just the warmth of this show so special.
Yep.
Seeing Taiju immediately start crying.
Big ol' anime
Big
tears.
just like Senku! You know, it's just like not only did they survive together for a good period of time, but also they were just childhood friends from way back in the day.
Yep.
And that memory is strong, but the loyalty to Senku's idea that they will do this for all this time, and then finally hear his voice after so long, it would be like, it would be like the return of, you know, Jesus coming back. It's just like,
I just want to point out, Senku straight up called his own fake gravesite hallowed ground or whatever. Like,
I love it. I love it so much. It's like, you've waited for 3,700 years. The cross shows up, but I will return. And I'm like, all right, Senku. Yeah.
It's like,
but live it up. Yeah.
You were the only one that was cognizant through those 3,700 years, Senku, so really they haven't actually been waiting.
Right.
But,
it's been a couple years, you know, whatever the time skip was.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. And they have been denying each other the pleasure of being together.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
Until they reunite. So my boy Taiju has like extra blue motivation. I mean, Yuzuriha too. I mean, come on,
absolutely.
Those two.
Did you see
athletic,
those arms?
Sexy,
okay. All right, yeah. Taiju has always been a high constitution, high fortitude, endurance type fella.
Yes, indeed.
He hasn't been necessarily like the strongest. He's strong, but not like Tsukasa strong, right? But and granted,
he's a tier underneath. He's in the Kohaku area, you know.
But even if it was for rule of cool and to quickly move things along and not show them like carefully like digging up the mic or things like that, the fact that he just punched through the ground like that and the ground like shattered like that wasn't some like damp earth or something.
It also
that
wasn't
was,
a punch. He
just finger grabbed through it like. Okay, all right. That would be in like one of those cheesy kung fu movies where it's just all of a sudden like, and then they rip out the heart or something. Like,
yeah. Seriously.
Okay, all right. You have clearly been working out. Like I could almost see there being like a
prehensile strength. You know, his grip.
But like almost like a body improvement club type thing where just in the Tsukasa Empire they're like, okay, so weights. This is what we do. We've got these rocks over here, you know, and some rope, you know, and that's how we just make sure that we stay in shape.
I cannot wait to see the Tsukasa Empire's like council of like a war council of seeing them
of
all
dude
like
bros.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be, of course, plenty of women there as well, but just the idea of them like having their, you know, discussion surrounding this whole thing of what they should do, and like 50% of them are just dumbass meatheads, you know, or they're just like. What? Why don't we smash? I'm like, no. The smashing is for the tent over there. That's the tent of smashing, and you just hear this, you know, coming from that area. It's like
the smash tent.
Yeah, the smash tent, exactly. Yeah. But here we talk, we reason, we strategize, and if Tsukasa slowly starts losing people one by one, I would love for it to be the thing where those people in the war council that are the ones that have the most reason and. You know, tactical awareness and strategy and stuff like that are, of course, the smarter ones. So they end up being attracted more by Senku's group. So
No, you know what I would actually really
just the
love
War
to
Council
see?
shrinks and then adjusts with new meatheads that come in as they, get
Right.
larger, army.
So, okay. This is very specific. But, if we've got some meatheads in Tsukasa's group, which I'm sure we do, right? We've seen some of them in season 1,
yes,
right?
we have. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
If they hear the song of a popular idol,
Oh. You want to have almost all of them be like, "Oh, I was such a big fan of her."
wait, there are way less people now. We might actually have a chance with her. Like, wait, hold on, Mike, let's think about this.
Now, I am all for that. That's the more realistic theory. My theory is that Tsukasa's the one that has to calm down. He's like, "Oh, okay, Tsukasa."
No, Tsukasa is full on Genghis Khaning this.
You sure?
Okay, they would never show it, but
I see what you mean.
I mean, yes, he wants to be the one on top as far as all the power and things like that with his old style tribe and things like that. And the most common thing was that also made it so you had the best chances of spreading your genes to many.
And right now he's spreading the revival fluid, not his fluids everywhere. So slightly different. But yeah, that's true. There's a couple things that we just kind of have to accept are happening probably. And it's just oh boy. And then
although given the fact that they brought up the whole idea of killing people, two very different things, granted, but
very different.
But there is the possibility that they could bring up the whole idea of, but at the same time, we do need to actually increase. Well, they don't necessarily need to increase their numbers right now because they can just keep reviving people.
That was what I was going to say.
The longer it takes to revive people, they aren't aging during that process, so they don't actually need to procreate. For a very long time. So that actually might be a clever way that the story can censor itself because they don't ever really need to bring up that question.
Well, the story's not going to go over the course of decades.
No, probably.
No, because these people have to be eternally the same age. That's how these stories work,
Unless they didn't.
Oh my god. Jesus, our brain. Y'all, we're going to call it there. So thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.